What is consciousness? It's the most familiar thing in the world, the feeling of being you. But science still can't explain how a lump of gray matter creates the taste of coffee, the color red, or the ache of heartbreak. Philosopher David Chalmers called this the hard problem, and it might be the greatest mystery left unsolved. In this video, we'll explore why your mind isn't just your brain, debate futuristic AI, and ask, will we ever crack the code of consciousness? Hey everyone! Today, we're diving into one of my favorite topics, the philosophy of mind. Let's start with a thought experiment. Close your eyes and imagine nothing. No colors, no sounds, no self. That's what it's like to not be conscious. But how does consciousness even exist? Let's find out. Our story begins in the 1600s with René Descartes, who claimed the mind and body are separate substances. But today, scientists argue everything is physical. Your thoughts, emotions, even your soul are just neurons firing. Or are they? If the brain is just atoms, how do subjective experiences emerge? This is the explanatory gap. For example, we can map how the brain processes red light, but why does red feel like red? Philosopher Thomas Nagel put it best. There's something it's like to be a bat, but we'll never know what that something is. This gap divides philosophers into two camps. Physicalists, who say consciousness is just brain activity, and dualists, who insist mind and matter are separate. But there's a third option, Panpsychism, the idea that consciousness is everywhere, even in particles. Yes, your toaster might be a tiny bit conscious. Maybe. Let's break down today's biggest theories. First, Integrated Information Theory, IIT, which says consciousness is the amount of integrated info in a system. The more connections, the more conscious. By this logic, the internet might already be semi-conscious. Then there's Global Workspace Theory. Consciousness is like a spotlight in the brain, broadcasting info to specialized modules. When you're awake, the spotlight's on. When you're under anesthesia, lights out. But neither theory solves the hard problem. Enter illusionists like Daniel Dennett, who say consciousness is a trick, a story the brain tells itself. Sorry, Dennett fans, but most of us aren't buying it. If pain is just an illusion, why does stubbing your toe hurt? Could machines ever be conscious? In 2022, a Google engineer claimed their AI, Lambda, was sentient. Was he right? Let's dissect the Turing test versus the Chinese room argument. Imagine a room with a person who doesn't speak Chinese, but uses a manual to reply to Chinese questions. To outsiders, the room understands Chinese, but does it? John Searle says this proves AI can't be conscious, even if it fools us. But what if AI becomes too lifelike? Ethically, this is a minefield. If AI becomes conscious, do we grant it rights? And what happens if we merge with machines? Elon Musk's Neuralink wants to plug chips into our brains. Will that expand consciousness or erase it? Neuroscience has made huge strides. We found the neural correlates of consciousness, brain regions like the thalamus and prefrontal cortex that light up when you're aware. But correlation isn't causation. For example, patients with Blindsight can navigate rooms without consciously seeing. How? And then there's quantum consciousness. Roger Penrose's wild theory that quantum vibrations in neurons create consciousness. Critics call it woo. But Penrose insists classical physics can't explain the mind. Is he onto something or just lost in the multiverse? The truth is, we're still clueless. But maybe that's okay. As philosopher Colin McGinn argues, our brains might be too limited to understand consciousness, like a dog trying to do calculus.